What's up, everybody? It's your girl Kiwan, and I am back with the Real Housewives of Miami, season 7, episode 8, Dueling Yachts. Sorry about that, y'all. Before I start, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video I drop. Y'all, make sure you are liking the video so I can stay in the algorithm, y'all. Do not forget that Sunday night I will be back on the Black Girls Den podcast discussing somebody's son. And actually tomorrow she's actually going to interview Chambrielle from somebody's son. So that's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. over at the Black Girls Den podcast. So y'all please go around there, check it out. She's a Kiki. It's all good, y'all. It's just yeah. Anyway. Let me tell y'all, because Julia pissed me off yet once again this entire episode, okay? All right. So, y'all, the episode starts with Julia and Martina's raggedy ass, right? Y'all, they out. They still trying to play in our face as if they're these stand-up women who just so happen to adopt these black boys. Okay, girl, we are over it. All right. So this hoe says she's still upset about Gertie at Gertie's event. Martina said she glad she didn't go. What in the entire was you gonna do? Okay, what was you gonna do? Not a whole ass thing. Anyway, Julia said Adriana told her to go hash it out with Gertie. And so her and her demon wife felt like there was no hashing out with Gertie. And I'm like, y'all, at this point, y'all reaching and y'all really just want a problem. You started it, she's finishing it, and y'all mad. Like, I really don't understand. Like, y'all were wrong. You was wrong. And what's her name? Martina is gonna uphold Julia right, wrong, or indifferent. And that's not fair. Anyway, so Julia felt like Adriana should have followed her, and she think Adriana resents her because of her newfound fangled friendship with Marisol and Alexia, because they like her more. They don't like you. They just trying to get rid of Gertie. And then you'll be next on that table. Mark my words. Next year, them hoes gonna give you the blues. Next season, them hoes gonna give you the blues. All right? So, y'all, Julia, apparently she walked back in the event and asked Gertie, what was your purpose of doing this? And Gertie was trying to explain, like, well, you said we wasn't going to talk about, what happened between us, but you went back on your word. And so Gertie was like this. Now, you cannot, listen, Julia at this point gonna get what she get, y'all. Y'all might think I'm wrong, but Julia right now got to get what she gets. So Gertie was like this, and she was like, get your finger out of my face, and yada, yada, yada. And so Gertie was like, baby, if you're not going to listen, you can GTF. All right? So that's what Julia did. She GTF'd up out of there. Anyway, Julia, said she apologized to Gertie. We get a flashback. But at this point, Julia, when you apologized to Gertie, for me, it just still felt disingenuous. It really did. Like, so, this when she was still talking to Martina. And so Martina gonna say, now, so they're still talking about how is Gertie a woman that's talking about, I'm sorry, y'all, so Julia and Martina said that they keep saying how the woman who survived cancer should act, but y'all not talking about the woman who threw water on the woman who actually had cancer and survived. That's all. I just want to point that out. Like, if y'all gonna talk about how one person act, y'all still not talking about what started it. Everybody keeps starting at C and moving down, but nobody's starting from A. So anyway, apparently Stephanie is rebuilding her home, and and this hoe said she wanted staff quarters so they won't come in, so they won't come in her entrance. She want them to go in a colored entrance. At this point, this bitch gets on my nerves. All right, this hoe got a whole colored entrance. I don't like her. Anyway, Kiki and Larsa they get together, so everybody was supposed to go on a boat ride. But apparently, since the people are in turmoil, they have to split up who gonna be staying well on what boat ride, right? So Marisol doesn't want to be on the same boat with Adriana because, she don't like her, and Adriana don't like her. All right. So Kiki messy ass decided to tell Adriana, and no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Marisol don't want to be on the same boat with Adriana. So at this point, this is what I wrote in my notes. All right, Marisol, girl, you, Larsa, Julia, Alexia, Stephanie, Kiki, and all my grounds are covered. Moving along. So Alexia and both of her boys, her men, are together, and hold on. So you, Frankie, and that other one just happen to be in all black at the same time, right? All right, girl. So now she's trying to play all this woe is me about this her entire situation, but you still bending over and dropping it low for a real nigga, right? All right. She's renting a house now because she don't know where she going and when she gonna get there and blah blah blah. Fine, girl, fine. So Frankie has diverticulitis, right? Alexia don't have a storyline. Frankie was like, I don't need y'all to be crying and all that bullshit. Frankie didn't say that. That's what I'm saying. But Frankie was like, chill. So Frankie was like, I don't need y'all to be crying behind me. It's just diverticulitis. Damn. Okay? Listen, I ain't no stomach person. I don't know how serious that is, but I heard that was a lot. But Frankie said he good, and everything gonna be everything. All right? That's all. So, first of all, because our beast naive was back on the screen. All right? Dr. Nicole. Okay? So, Gertie and our friend, the Dr. Nicole, because we love her. We love her. All right? She looked good. Y'all, Dr. Nicole looked good. Baby, she came with her $96,600 Birkin bag. I was like, girl, okay, ciao. So we see a picture of her baby. Her baby was a preemie. Her baby is really cute, but I didn't know that her baby was really, gotten that older or whatever. And so she said it was a lot between the baby coming early, her dad passing away, she was actually dealing with postpartum. But I kind of heard that prior to, I think, we knowing she wasn't going to be back on the show. I don't know where I heard it from, but I know she had postpartum. She said that she was excited to meet Stephanie. So Gertie called Stephanie on FaceTime and they talk. Her and Nicole have a cute little kiki. And apparently Stephanie dated Anthony over 20 years ago. All right. So they went to talking about all the hoes in the group. Nicole said they have this loyalty. She didn't call it blind loyalty, but basically she said they had blind loyalty to one another to the point that they take up for each other, right, wrong, or indifferent. They're still gonna take up for each other, and that's some bullshit. So Gertie said that they was predetermined on who they felt like was right from the other night. Basically, they were still gonna paint me as a person that was wrong, right? So Nicole says she don't see Julia hanging out with Adriana anymore, because y'all know Julia whole ass always over here. And so Gertie did say Julia is the pick-me girl now, of course. So Gertie asked Nicole, would you come back? What would it take to get you to come back? Okay. Girl, Nicole said, baby, it's a TBD situation right now. And Gertie was like, bitch. But it's a TBD situation, okay? So we get to the boat party. That shit was whack. Okay, Kiki, Larsa, that whole boat party was whack. Y'all whack. It is what it is. So Lisa arrived. She bring her black friend Ebony. You know, you heifers always have some black friend in y'all white ass pockets. Okay, y'all really starting to get on my nerves with this season. Alright, I don't know what y'all trying to say, but y'all ain't got no friends that look like y'all. Shit. Sorry. So we visibly see how Alexia is jealous of Stephanie, but I think she just don't like Stephanie based on what Stephanie said about her raggedy ass husband. She wasn't lying. Yeah, she may have overstepped because she don't know you like that, but she wasn't lying. All right. I still think Alexia is a little jealous of Stephanie, but I'm gonna leave it alone. So Stephanie is going on the boat with the ladies, but she won't be staying because she's going to take a day trip with her husband to Canada. Okay, that's when you rich. Okay. So we find out Gertie is coming later. Adriana is mad because Kiki, raggedy, messy ass, by the way, who looked good AF in that bathing suit. I cannot take that away from Kiki. Her body gave tea in that suit, in that bathing suit. That's all. She called. She said Marisol. She told Marisol she moaning with them dry ass knees. Girl, I said, girl, what? So Alexia, I'm sorry. Adriana walks out on the boat at the, so they were all talking to the lady. She was like, "What's up, bitch?" And Adriana don't let up on Marisol because she pissed off. Now, Adriana. Okay, let me say this because I wrote it down. I'm trying to look at my notes. First of all, Adriana don't like them ladies, but the reason why Adriana is extremely pissed off is because Julia are now friends with them, and that has taken her relationship. Julia, that has put a dent in her and Julia's relationship because y'all know the bitch won't be over there with the other stupid bitches. Thus, make her a stupider bitch. Okay, she's a stupid bitch. So sorry y'all. So everybody thinks that Adriana is not a fun drunk, and she not. Thinks she's not a fun drunk, and she's not because she's just doing the most, right? Julia said Adriana is not a fun drunk. She's not like Marisol, and I'm just like, Julia, girl, on your ass all season. Marisol know that Adriana don't see it for her, and vice versa. That's just what it is. That's what it's gonna always be. It is what it is. So the ladies asked where was Stephanie. Stephanie said nothing beats a jet two hot. What? That's my song. Nothing beats a jet two. I'm sorry, y'all. That's the New Orleans. Jet two. Anyway. Sorry, y'all. Julia asked Adriana, so Julia asked Adriana, listen, why didn't you stay back behind with me when I walked out? And so Adriana said somebody needed to mediate between you and Gertie. Julia said what Gertie did was wrong. And I'm just kind of thinking, no, girl, what you did was wrong. Yeah, we not discounting Gertie, but that was a reaction to what you've been doing and how you've been showing up and how you've been acting, right? And I kind of wish that Adriana would have said that, but I think she didn't say it because she was not there when Julia threw the water on Gertie's face, right? So Adriana says she needed to bring back sense between those two. Julia feels like Gertie should do that on her own. That should be Gertie's job. And so Adriana asks, well, why did you talk to Dumb and Dumber, Alexia and Marisol? Why did you talk to Dumb and Dumber when they call her a liar in NYC? And you didn't defend. She was like, and you didn't, she said, you didn't defend me. Julia said she needed to listen to their side. So Adriana told her, well, I needed to do the same with Gertie. I was like, okay. So Julia said, well, that Gertie planned this whole thing and it was deranged. And I was like, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. She did not plan it. It was based on what you said to Russell at the event and what you did, coupled with the fact with the stuff you did last week. Like, you keep trying to act like you the victim. Well, we gonna let you be the victim and you gonna get rolled over every time. All right. So Adriana said, well, throwing water on a wall is more benign than throwing water in somebody's face. But God forbid Julia gets called out on anything, right? Julia said Gertie will come in a few hours. She would probably throw some things at me. Will you hold her accountable? So do you mean physical throwing or do you mean verbal throwing? Because she's just regurgitating to you what you've done to her. She is just letting you know how you made her feel. You don't want to hear that. So Gertie arrived. She speaks to everybody. Everybody speaking back real dry because they still pissed off at her again. As if Gertie is supposed to kiss their ass, right? So at some point, for me, I wanted to mush Julia in her fucking face. Okay? She was like, it was just her look, her face. She just... But I don't know how we missed that. I do not know how we missed her real self, because that is her real self. So Julia starts to talk about the situation, and Gertie said, I did what I did. So Alexia asked Gertie, why did she do what she did at her event? And she was like, well, none of us ladies think what you did was okay. Gertie said, I am not here to take accountability and counsel about who thinks what I did was right. Right? Alexia said asked Gertie, do she care? And Gertie tells Alexia, is it affecting you? What I did what I do affect you in some way? She said, and I'm not apologizing for it, as she should not. So Alexia at this point went on mute. So of course when she went on mute, her drunk ass friend gotta come on, bring it in. So Gertie said, I'm not kissing nobody ass. I'm a lonely lioness, not a following sheep. All right. So Gertie then said it was a reaction to what she felt was betrayal again. Gertie said, I don't owe nobody an apology. And then she said, she said she didn't owe nobody an apology. She did it, and you hating ass hoes walked out like it was a dick pic. Okay? Marisol then tags in and says, Gertie, but you did it in front of people that we didn't know. So Gertie was like, okay, well, this bitch threw a drink, yelling and screaming in front of people I didn't know. So again, what y'all want me to do? All right? So at this point, y'all, Julia is mad because Adriana trying to get somebody to open the champagne, and Adriana is not there holding Gertie accountable. Girl, you have two people talking up for you. Everybody trying to bombard Gertie. What do you want? You want them to single her out. You want them to ice her out because that is y'all plan. And I'm just like, you doing all this grave digging, huh? Like, you're doing all this grave digging, but I hope you did one for yourself. So, Gertie tells them, y'all, despite of anything I say or do, y'all still gonna take Julia's side. So, she said, but did y'all even read the text messages? So, production asked the hoes, did they read the text messages? The hoes said no. They didn't read the text message, right? So, let me tell y'all, Gertie had me this whole, she had me at hello until she decided to tell that raggedy ass bitch that they can have a separate conversation. At this point, Julia couldn't look at me cross-eyed. All right? She couldn't look at me cross-eyed. So I was like, girl, I wouldn't have a conversation with her if the Lord tapped me on my shoulders, right? So the next morning, everybody wake up, for breakfast or whatever. Larsa, Marisol, and Alexia called. Well, Larsa called Stephanie. She was with Marisol and Alexia. And so, they kind of fill it in a little, check on her, see how she doing out there when she returning back. Alexia, Stephanie was like, well, where's your rock waller? Did she act up? So Alexia heard her and they started to argue. Alexia was big mad. She really do not like Stephanie. Right? So Stephanie was like, well, you called yourself a rock waller, so why you gonna get mad at me? Because I'm saying it. And it's so Larsa was like, she was just playing. Why are y'all this angry? Why are you this angry? Yada, yada, yada. So Larsa said in her confessional, Stephanie was just joking. And some of the girls in this group are jealous of her. And I'm like, well, who you talking about? You talking about your friend? Because if you're talking about your friend, say you're talking about your friend. Because ain't nobody jealous of this bitch right here. All right? That was the end of the episode, y'all. Julia is pissing me off. All right? I will see y'all in the next video. Okay?